One of my former student athletes didn't know he was not a legal citizen of America until he was in high school. Around his junior year in high school, all of his friends were getting jobs. So he went to his parents and he said, hey, all my friends are getting a job. I want to get a job too. And that is when they had to tell him that he was not a legal citizen of this country. His younger brothers and sisters were. They were born here. But his parents had brought him here illegally when he was a baby. So he didn't know he wasn't a citizen. And it was shocking to him because he doesn't speak Spanish or anything like that. By the time he got to the college, he had worked on becoming a legal resident, which is different from being a legal citizen. One of the most disturbing, vile, and really disgusting moments of the entire Trump presidency, and I should say the Republican nominee's presidency or the Republicans' presidency, was seeing people at the RNC holding up signs that said, "Mass deportation now." It looked to me like the scene from a horrible, like dystopian type of movie where they were trying to rid the world of basically like Donald Trump, the word he used, vermin. And it was just, to me, it was like, gosh, like, do these people not have any empathy? Do they not think of like the gravity of what these signs are saying to people that they probably live next door to, have shared, dinner with in some cases, their kids play with at school, and so forth. And so to hear Jesse Waters say this was even more disturbing to me.
And there will be massive clashes because you're going to have cameras out there making sure that they capture the images of ICE coming along and taking these people away. And they deserve to be taken away. Sometimes you have to do tough stuff. But AOC is going to be there tying herself to migrants. It's going to be hysterical. But sometimes dad has to do the tough thing.
Tucker Carlson called Donald Trump daddy during one of his rallies. And now Jesse Waters is calling him daddy as well. And that's going to have to be another conversation at a different time. But to say that it's going to be hysterical, it's going to be hysterical watching these migrants get dragged away by ICE. And they deserve to be dragged away. It's going to be hysterical, just hilarious, watching AOC chain herself to migrants. These are people we're talking about. These are families. These are husbands, wives, kids who have been living in this country for years, paying into the system, being law-abiding, paying taxes and so forth. These are the people we're talking about. A lot of these people, like Jesse Waters, don't put a face to the migrants that they're talking about. Those of us who work in the public sector, especially those of us who are educators, coaches, counselors, psychologists, therapists, or whatever, we understand the gravity of these moments. We understand the gravity of seeing people in a room holding up mass deportation signs. We don't find it hilarious at all. And we do realize that this 50% of Hispanic men who voted for Donald Trump, some of them are going to learn the hard way that some of their close friends and family members are going to be affected by these decisions that they decided to make. But it gets worse because this Republican was on one of the news stations and, Dana Bash basically asked him, what about families, kids who were born here and they're citizens, but their parents aren't, or their brothers and sisters, like my former athlete who's a legal resident now, but he's not a legal citizen, but his brothers and sisters are legal citizens.
So just to be clear, I know you say that it would be the people who are criminals first, but then ultimately every undocumented immigrant in this country, even those who perhaps are deemed by their neighbors as contributing to society, or perhaps those who are married to American citizens or legal immigrants. That's it. Children, adults, older people, they all should be gone.
The American people spoke loud and clear on Tuesday. They gave this president and Republicans a mandate to do everything that we can. The goal should be to deport every illegal in this country that we can find. And as I said a moment ago, if you take away the incentive for them to come here in the first place by turning up the pressure on those who employ illegals, then you've taken away the incentive. They're going to go back to where they came from.
And with absolutely no care or empathy, he says, we're sending them back. That's what we're going to do. We're sending them all back. We're going to take away any incentive for them to be here, and they're going to go back to where they came from. We're talking about people here. We're talking about people with faces and names, mothers and fathers with kids, sons and daughters who go to school, who are young kids. We're talking about people here. But they don't care. People voted for this. People supported this. And many of those people have no idea what's coming. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.